right? And our comp is Ball, Diva, Ash, Brig. Then, so we start off. Who are our long range characters?
Zen, Ash.
Hello.
Ash.
I was ringing one up for Smart UGC.
Okay, no problem.
I'm here now.
So Ash, and there's one other long range character we have,
Zen, right?
Zen.
Zen. Right? So let's look at where do we want to take a fight? We're defending. We're defending.
Oh, we're defending?
Okay.
At the beginning choke on corners there.
Right. So here, right? Same idea.
Yeah.
Long range. Where are some long range angles? I think there's probably two here we have.
The high ground, the right, well, the right high ground, that bridge, yeah, the bridge,
and then the middle high ground.
Middle and the
right,
high
right.
ground. Yeah.
So yeah. So basically, have our Brig Zen play either of these high grounds, right? Obviously, we're not gonna. I don't think Zen can get up here, so theoretically we can't do that. But let's just say there's stairs up there to get up there. Why do I still? What's the difference between these two high grounds?
One has cover and one doesn't.
Yeah, the bridge has cover.
Right. One's a little safer, right? This one's a little safer. As they both have a little bit of cover at least, but this one's a lot more. It's pretty enclosed. It's a little farther away. So I'm probably gonna put Zen there because he doesn't have as much survivability as Ash does, right? With the coach gun. We can also throw a Brig up there at the Zen to help them out. I do think, Brig is a little tough on this point. I think like Mercy's fine. I think it's just a little more risky if the enemy team runs ball, so I can just run out Brig. But we have these two angles, right? Notice we're not. Another thing to keep in mind is that we're within LOS of each other, right? So both of them can support each other. And then our ball wants to engage on this little blue circle. So where does he want to play? And also they have
probably in these like right and left cubby areas, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I like that thinking. Like that can be a spot. Like obviously you want to have a couple spots just so you're not going to the exact same dark time. Generally, I think it's pretty simple. You can just start like you can use the card as cover. Like they can't really see you if you sit in a certain way, and you just roll up and pile jet and try and walk through. And then again, keep in mind, right, LOS of each other. Right, if he starts over, like if our ball starts back here and he gets found, he might get poked out really easily. But a character like Tracer can actually start up here because it's a lot easier for her to get away than say ball. And again, we need a different angle because you notice we're having this angle. Green. So we have this angle coming in, this angle coming in, and then this angle coming in from ball. We need to find somebody to come from behind, right? Tracer, you can start here, whatever. And then we can have that little kind of, we circle around them, right? If you watch like Natter streams, he says webbed, another like surrounded, pinch, stuff like that, a cut. I think people say they all mean the same thing: is that you're looking to surround them, roughly different angles. And then we'll erase this because obviously we know sometimes we're not gonna. Most of the time, we're not gonna get a kill. We're not gonna win the fight at that choke, right? Obviously, we'd love to, but especially in ball comp, we can't. And what's the mean we can? But so let's say that green, right? They come in. Okay, they dive, and then they come up here. Do we want? Can our ball kill them at this choke? No. Right? There's too much. Like it's too enclosed. It's really easy to get stunned. And the biggest thing, you can't really get angles, right? You can't really get supported. If you let's say you're Zen, your yellow Brig Zen back up, right? You play back here. They can't support you if they punch the ball right here, right? But this still is a choke. So Zen still be shooting. Ash, another good. You still play up here. Throw a dynamite, whatever. That's something in my throat. But we're not looking to engage there. instead, if we go and we want to engage right here instead. Now, why is this a lot better? Our brigs then, basically once you see them get in this little room, you're just booking it to try and get like somewhere around here, right? If you're a second late, not a big deal. Just make sure you're safe. We have our Ash. You can play here. If you're getting pressured, don't be afraid to just like coach gun back over here. And then we have our ball, right? Peppa, what are you going to do? You hit this choke, where are you going to roll?
The back stairs there, like our
Right, you can roll like this as well.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to sit here for a second and shoot them to build your ult as they walk the choke, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But then you come here and we roll and we can, again, pile drive, roll through, whatever we need to do, and fight them there. Tracer, something you can do, you can like come from behind them, like just keep playing from behind, spamming them out, playing far, and then getting more aggressive right here. There's a couple, you can go with Beppo, you can play on point, you can help point if you need. Diva, your job kind of here is to just protect. Yeah, I haven't really talked about that too much. I'll talk about Diva in a second. But everybody kind of get why we're hitting certain places and stuff like that. And ideally, we want to have the fight wrapped up by the second circle. Because after this, it's going to get a lot more messy. You're going to fight on point. You're going to more individual stuff. You say something else? Make sense? All right. So Diva, I mean, if we were playing Sig, Sig is a lot better at playing like a. I say carry. I don't mean this in a sense like it's just thumb gap, like it doesn't matter the rest of the team, but they're like doing the most damage, like Ash and Zen. They're your two big angles you need to look out for. Whereas Sigma can be one of that. Diva's not really. But Diva, you're just kind of like helping who needs to be helped. So if your Ash is getting dove by the enemy Diva, you help your Ash.
Is this defense or offense? Sorry.
Defense, sorry.
Okay.
When your ball's pile driving, maybe playing like right here and just like DMing him and then flying up, stuff like that. Obviously, if they're diving your breaks in, you fly up there. You're not really too concerned with being a part of the dive, just helping whoever needs it.
Yeah, just maintain booster range of everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So this first point that way, and again, same idea. We'll try to go a little faster. Boom, we go this way, right? We hit them here, right? We're in our angles. Oh, something else as well. More for Polar playing Ash here. Is you don't need to really like your dynamite's super strong in this first choke. So I really don't even show myself because if I peek out and the enemy Ash just like headshots me and I have to like back up and do that kind of screws us over. So I will hide until Beppo pile shots. I won't even peek out. Just a little thing. But let's say they go this way, we hit them here, and then right here. Beppo, do we want to hit them right here?
Yes. Well.
Why do?
Yeah.
Why do I say no?
Probably too far of LOS.
Right, we don't really have LOS of our brigs yet.
Okay.
I think if we're on Monkey something because your Odd kind of has like infinite range with their help. Zen does it right. It's so far that even like his like left clicks and right clicks and stuff aren't gonna land, and I don't really think that's gonna harm him much, right? So right now I would just kind of like chill. Your yellow and like pile drive and then just shoot them. Like just pressure them, shoot them, build your ult, be ready for it, and then set up early. But then here, so this is kind of like this green circle is kind of just like this green circle, where you want to like shoot them a bit, pressure them, but we don't need a hard engage because it's not the best LOS for everybody.
Okay.
And then when they get up here, right? This is a really good spot, right? Our Brig Zen is going to rotate over here. Ash, again, this is kind of like there's a couple spots you can go as long as you're taking a different angle, whether it's safer, more aggressive, depends on the situation. If you're getting shot at, obviously super close to them. You can back up play here. You can play in the mega room. If you get forced up really early and you have some time to set up, you can maybe play like over here. But just take a different angle from them that has less of the screen circle. And then ball, again, basically the same idea. You're kind of just like following them from behind. Maybe you're helping your ball rotate. Again, depends. Ball trying to like grapple and just set up here. So when they come out, we can just hit a roll through, pile drive. Maybe set up here instead if you have time, just so they don't see you off the bat.
So how
With
would
support
I
swap, yeah.
get up there easy?
Okay.
Just either go right side for a long ass rotation or try to beat him left side.
Well, so you pile drive here, right?
Yeah.
And then immediately you don't want to chill, so you roll away. You're over here, and then you just hook onto this.
Okay,
Maybe you
so
shoot a
grapple
bit here,
up.
and then
Okay.
yeah, you hook up,
Okay.
and then you can play up here.
Alright, wasn't sure. Alright.
Yeah, don't be afraid to use your grapple and stuff to like reposition.
Okay.
It's like 4 or 5 second cooldown.
Yeah.
Um,
Something like
yeah.
that.
So yeah, that's generally how we're gonna play first point. There. Anything else they can do? I mean, that's kind of like obviously if they roll main, I think we know how we can play it. Right, we're gonna hit here, we're gonna hit here, you know, here and here, whatever.
Corners.
Taking angles around that. So defense, big point. This is a lot worse for Balkan. You're not gonna have as many engages, which nerfs dive as a whole. There's more open space, less chokes, so you're not gonna have super advantageous. Doesn't mean it's unwinnable, but it's not gonna be as clean as like, team play sort of thing as you can. It's gonna be a lot of like making sure your Ash positioning well, your Zen positioning well, your ball in this hand fight. Everybody can do stuff, obviously, but you're not gonna have too many engages. So now you have your Brig. Zen can play is again long range angles, right? There's probably one here. Can maybe say something like that. Something like that. Oh, and then this is our first engage, right? Everybody knows why. Why do we engage here with green circle?
To keep them off the high ground.
High ground, right? But the biggest thing is that it's a choke, right?
Okay.
So what a choke means, they're all going to be there. So all, our abilities are all going to hit them. We know where they're going to be. That's why choke's really strong because they're all grouped up.
Yeah.
Same idea. Again, over here, it doesn't really change too much. We have our Briggs Zen play back here, a little farther away, right? Same idea on the first point. Our Ash can maybe play up here to start. Maybe Coach Guns back to over here, or something else like that. We're basically looking to engage right here on the screen circle. Ball maybe set up like around here, roll through like that. And then yeah, it gets a little scrappy.
As Diva,
So-
I just sit like the top high ground, like the one
Yeah,
that sticks out the front of point,
Yeah, so yeah, you can.
across from Ash.
The other thing you can do is maybe just you can start over here and
That was
like,
really far back.
scout
Just
a
watch
bit.
flank. Okay.
Yeah, like watch flank. Once you know there's nothing there, or you don't like if they're ball chasing over here, if you watching flank helps so much because now your Brig Zen is like.
If I were to do, I might just position where Ash is then, and just watch that lane from there.
Yeah,
instead.
that works as well. As
Okay.
somewhere around here, looking like if you can protect the Brig ball tracer, which is in, that's great. If they're
Okay.
say, playing something that doesn't have flankers like Arisa, like Ryan Comp, stuff like that, then yeah.
Then I
playing
can
where you're talking
position
about-
top right.
Yeah, you can position aggressively and help ball out
Okay.
more because they're going to
Yep.
punish ball more than they're going to punish your Brig Zen.
Yep.
So yeah, that second point. I mean, something else, really big, really really big. You can't always just set up this every fight because you don't have time, especially on like the right after we lose first. But if you win a fight on second point, it's super super good to set up like to play this choke instead. This is actually a really good ball. It's not a point,
Play
but
for
like
the
yeah.
yard outside.
yeah, it's like an in between. Yeah, it's just kind of like a point of it itself.
Kind of like Anubis is like that too.
Yeah, same thing with Anubis, and I mean, I want to experiment with Hanamura. I feel like it could be good. I mean, we'll talk about that later, but
That could be interesting.
yeah. So you want to position pretty, similar idea where we have our Briggs and play around here. Maybe our Ash plays right here. If She wants to go a little safer. Maybe over here, if she, is against the comp that can play a little more aggressive. Ball plays this car. Tracer maybe plays over here, something like that on a different angle. And then we all kind of hit, like right here, generally is where they're almost always going to run. Right here, same idea. And we can play for that. And the beauty of that is that's going to give us another fight. They're going to walk like there, engage in the circle. They're going to walk up here, we're engaged in the circle, whatever. So we're getting like 2 engages, and we want as many as possible. That's what makes it a really good ball point, is when you have a whole bunch of them. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind, but really important is don't worry about, like, you don't have to set up a round point all the time. Maybe Diva, like that can be your extra job to touch point if their ball tracer goes, something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, there's something. And then attack's a little tougher on ball comp, on dive in general. I think maybe in your ranked games, maybe it's a little better in attack because you can just jump on something, but generally it's a little tough setting up. So basically what we're trying to do is get on defense. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't just mean like flip map, try and get like whatever flip position in the team. It's get into a position where back line, we have the angle set up like we do on defense. Where, for example, there's a couple different spots you can set up on first. But if we have our Briggs Zen up here and our Ash like over here or up here or over here, over here, and our ball tracer being able to engage on their backline in a spot that has really good LOS for us, that's a really big win. That's what we're trying to do. So how we can do that, we'll start by going this way, is we'll do both ways again. We rotate over here, right? We reverse engineer it, right? If we're gonna want to dive them at this choke, what are they gonna want to do? They're gonna want to dive to that choke, right? So what we can do is have our ball. We can have our ball roll through. Follow through, and then like chill here and shoot the tanks, whatever, force them out if you can. You can touch point. It's not too good on this point, but yeah, there's another option. You can look to pressure. Let's say they have the exact same setup as we do, right here and right here. You can have our ball engage on this Ash, our tracer. Again, I'll say engage on this Briggs End. It doesn't mean die or like look for a kill. It just means look at, make sure their attention goes on you. Okay. Don't need to kill them. Remember, that's the big thing. Don't need to kill them. We just need our Briggs End to rotate through this choke. And then once they're through this choke, because we just chill. Like we go back, we go to health packs, whatever, and we set up for the next time.
Okay.
Again, we this rotation here, it's not too good for them. If they want to dive into this choke, if they're like ball wants to dives at this choke and cut out lesser mid supports or whatever, we don't need to like our ball chaser don't need to like dive the enemy backline or dive the enemy ball. What they need to do is just shoot them a bit if you can. But our Brig, Diva, Zen should be able to 3v2 a ball tracer, right? Mm-hmm. So don't worry too much about this rotation. Big thing is up here again, with the same idea where we maybe have our ball tracer when our backline rotates. Our ball tracer is like set up in a spot that can either pressure the Ash that's right here, pressure the Ash that's like, I won't move everything, but like over in this corner here. Again, pressure them. We don't need to look for a dive yet because we don't have positioning. Pressure the enemy ball if they show themselves really early, or the enemy wins in if they do. But then once we get into this really, really good spot here, and our Ash gets into a really good spot here, and our ball tracer all set up on flanks, then we can look for dive, or we can look to touch point and bait them into diving to us. But our entire job is to get our backline into the best spot possible for them. And the same idea, it should be pretty simple, pretty much mirrored how we do it, but same idea if we go like this way, right here. It's the same idea. Generally, what I do if we go right or left is, do we want to brawl into them? If the answer is, if you're playing ball, most of the time it's going to be no. So you're going to go the opposite way their backline is. If you were playing like monkey or something and you're against the ball comp, maybe you could rotate into them instead. Or you're playing like monkey into Arisa, you're going to rotate into them. Ryan into any comp, you're going to rotate into them. Arisa and any comp, you're going to rotate away from them. But yeah, that's how you can play first there. Second point, same idea. Again, we against better teams, or I don't know, like teams probably won't set up to hit you here. I'm being honest, but like they can. So same idea where we have our ball, maybe scout a bit, maybe just like roll through this room to see if anybody's here. Maybe set up just to like look for like again look for a roll. We want to roll through their backline so they take pressure away. We don't need a hard engaged pile drive on their backline to pay attention because we're just gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if they are set up aggressively, which will be pretty rare, we roll through, our backline walks. Diva, maybe you can again if we're it's kind of like we were talking about Doomfist, is how when we walk through the enemy team's green circles, we can expect them to use their cooldowns or engage stuff like that. So this is when a Doomfist is going to want to roll out. You're not going to see a Doomfist here, but Ash Dynamite, really big here. That's when they're going to throw it. Anti-nades, that's when they're going to throw it. Is like when we walk through the engagement zones, I guess. But the more linear way how people are going to play it, what we can do is we do a couple things. Talk to talking to supports I've talked to, they generally like to play over here. So same idea. How can we get our Zen, get our Ana, get our Brig and stuff over to that little corner there? Because they can't just walk down main and do that, obviously. So if we go high ground, our Tracer goes like left side, duels their Tracer if they're there, or just goes around and annoys their backline. Our ball annoys like looks to engage on the enemy hit scan or whatever to pressure them out. Our Diva looks to maybe pressure out the Pharah or the Echo or whoever they can, and then our backline can walk and set up in this really good spot, and we have all the angles around them, right? We have our Briggs in that corner, we have our Ashe set up here, and our Ball Tracer on the flank about to look to go in the high ground. That's what we want to get to. Something else you can do is our backline's blue. We can rotate kind of like this, and then we can fight like that. Or honestly, thinking about it, you probably can just like fight from here. I don't think you see this being too bad. You might get flanked from above, so be careful of that. But again, we're reading the rotation. Our engagement zones are right here, so our Ball Tracer looks to annoy them. Just annoy them so we have pressure so our backline can walk away. And then once we're set up, we look for the dive when our Briggs and are set up right here. Make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So this is what, again, it'll be a lot more. We're gonna go into games and there's gonna be all these like different. Oh my god. There's science when you got like the different. You got like random stuff happening. What's it called? Like, the word for it? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
variation, like variables.
Variations, like you're gonna do an experiment, and there's just gonna be something random happen to it. What's that called? Ah.
Nah, I don't know.
Variation.
Adaptability.
What was that?
Could be
Alexi?
probability.
I said adaptability.
Adaptability, yeah, like it's something we can be. We can be adaptable. So how can we do like every team, every comp is gonna set up differently. So maybe whatever they do have a Doomfist set up right here, right? How can we deal with that? We have our
Test him. Ball tracer.
Tracer go and fight him. We have our, maybe they're running Doom Bastion, right? How can we deal with Doom Bastion,
Quit.
right? It's all gonna be different.
Alt F4, baby.
Yeah, but Alt F4 is another opportunity.
Screw that shit. Screw that shit.
Yeah, that word's dumb.
You think of it and post it in chat.
I'll think of it eventually.
You just at the whole team in chat when you get it, alright?
Yeah. Any other maps we like really we're struggling with? We don't understand how to play.
I mean, I would
Eichenwalde.
say Anubis first point, but that can wait till we actually have a VOD of it.
Eichenwalde.
I was gonna say Gibraltar, but it might just because we're playing ball on it, and that's just disadvantageous.
We also haven't played Gibby much at all, honestly.
I think
so.
we have.
I just think
we have
ball is
gotten-
so hard to execute on
Oh,
Gibraltar over Monkey.
yeah.
It sucks.
Like we're just playing on hard mode.
I
Yeah.
hard mode. We're in
on Eichenwalde.
impossible mode.
I think we've gotten stuck on Eichenwalde second point every single time we've scrimmed,
Okay.
Yeah.
and also
I'll just do
we've
it there.
lost every point.
Ike is a little rough. We have,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no. It's
It'll do-
basically like impossible mode playing ball on that map.
So here we'll say like blue. Definitely blue. This I'd say no. I'd probably say like,
It's
blue, probably
50-50. Certain points are, certain points aren't.
Hanamura, I'd probably say blue.
Yeah.
Ivana, I'd
Ivana.
probably say yellow.
Yeah, except for second point. That one's actually third point's worse for ball. Horizon's hard. Wait.
Helios for sure blue. Every
Good.
down to yellow.
Kings Row is
Kings Row yellow.
Honestly, not too bad with ball.
No, Kings Row is ball's actually really good on the game.
I played it today in comp, and it was pretty fun.
I
Honestly.
love Kings Row ball.
Yeah.
Especially because they have to play far. Oh, I wanted to see the
Risotto
Paris.
isn't
I wanted
too
to see the
bad.
Paris tier list.
It's all good on chairs.
Honestly, probably not. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it on. I'd say probably Winston's probably the best on attack, and Arisa's the best on defense.
Bastion.
Maybe a not bad to give it.
Nah, Sim's OP
I think it's
on attack.
Roadhog.
Sim's the best on attack on that map.
Yeah. So look at those maps. Like yellow's gonna be if we're a ball one trip team. Like that's what we should play. Red is like it's
Stay the
if,
fuck
you didn't,
away.
you didn't have a dictator coach that forced you on ball. Like don't even play that even if you're a ball one trip team. Blue is any
Yeah.
team you want to play that there. But the thing is, the red maps are where you're going to learn how to play ball the most, because you actually need to think about where are the engagement zones. How do I position as tracer on this map? Like learning how to, if you can position, if you understand the, if you know how to position on Busan Sanctuary as Zen, it's pretty simple because you just play it so much, you just see other Zens sit in a spot. You don't really know why Zen's good, right? You just play where they play. Where in a map like King's Row, when have I ever seen a Zen play Zen on King's Row second point? I actually need to think about where are the fundamentals of Zen positioning in order to make it work there. I can't just go in because I watched like a stream of playing King's Row, because we don't. That's why I generally had to get
third point.
So-
Kings Row.
So what was good? Gibraltar we'll look at, and what else? Anything else? I think it was Eichenwalde.
Eichenwalde.
We can look at Eichenwalde second. Eichenwalde second.
Yeah, because we have
Yeah.
first point down, we just lose it here and there for reasons, but second point, yeah.
First point I feel is very like snowbally though. Like if they win first fight, they just stomp. But like if we hold first fight, then like we actually get a decent hold.
Yeah, like I never have.
It kind of
issue
feels
getting-
that way.
I've never
Yeah.
had an issue on second or first point, but I have the feeling with the second point is because of all the high ground. It's really hard to
Contest.
clear that space on Farah.
Yeah.
So retaking, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
like
think
if you
you-
lose that first fight on second, you just kind of
Yeah, first fight second, basically.
it's a major L.
So we'll do red team as just like generally they're gonna sit here and here.
Or the
right.
defense or attack.
We're attacking. Okay.
We're attacking. Got it.
Okay.
Cart is. Can I just like? Oh, can't. No cart picture right now, but cart's just a
draw
choke.
the payload.
Yeah, we can. Backline wants to play around here, right? Because ideally, where does our backline want to be? Where's our like
Rotate left
prime real
stairs.
estate? Yeah, we want to be right here, right? Can we just walk there? No, because we're going to have to walk through like how many danger zones? 1, 2, and 3 to get there. So we can't just walk through. We need to somehow. I mean, Tuesday, honestly. But how can we get to this spot without dying? So we need to make sure they get them off. We need to displace them, get them off the red high ground. The other thing is we can't just pile drive into them, right? Because they're gonna pull us, they're gonna stun us with Brig, they're gonna just one shot us with Cassidy or Torb or whatever, and we're gonna die. So we can't just do that. We have to somehow make them. We have to make them leave, right? And how we do that is we touch point, and we can play like underneath this ledge here, push it, and eventually they're gonna have to touch. If they touch it, let's say just the diva touches, right? We make sure we discord the diva as Zen playing right here in a spot that we can't be seen. We have our tracer ball to shoot her, and we get her off the cart. And we can keep doing this until more of them touch, right? If they just ain't and just have their recent everyone touch point, do we need to engage them there? No, we don't, right? What we can do instead is just run away, but then we can have our backline set up. Let's say they drop like over here under this bridge. We just have our backline walk and look to take high ground from there. Our ball rolls up, plays a high ground, whatever. But we can basically just touch point until they drop, and then once they drop, we can set up. We're still looking to get into this prime real estate spot up here. A lot of teams, what'll happen sometimes, especially in these points, they'll randomly get a pick, right? They'll randomly kill the the Brig. And they'll go, okay, ooga booga, let's run it down main, let's dive them, and then they'll just die because they're still in really bad positioning, right? Even though they have a pick. So if you get a pick, don't think about it as we need to go in now. Think about it as it's so much easier for us to get into that prime real estate spot. The other thing we can do is if we're struggling getting them off the cart, is we can actually maybe set up a dive onto them if they do touch. For example, we have our ball force point. Right. Tracer, you probably don't need a touch point because you can't really get back into the fight. So I'd probably just chill like underneath, be ready to go on the stairs or like over here or whatever. And then if their diva touches, you just can't get her off point. Right? You just can't. Once she touches, you can use that second to then roll through. It's kind of weird to draw, but you're gonna want to. You are black. You're gonna want to like roll through and just again roll through, and then we go to set up a dive because they're down the diva. As we're doing this, our Farah, our Echo, or whatever is jumping up, putting pressure out. Our Trace is putting pressure from behind, and we're just looking to again annoy them and get out. This is our chance for our backline to like do a little rotation. And I did a big one. Backline for rotation around here, set up on these stairs. And then from here again, same idea. We displace them, force car, do whatever we need to do. This would notice how like complicated this is for me to explain because it's just tough to do, right? Have you guys ever been on a team that's just like for some reason crazy on the Eichenwalde second point attack? Probably not, right? Every team struggles with it. So this is something where I kind of explain some things you can do. So next time we play Eichenwalde, we're probably going to get held again. But at least now we know it'll be easier for me to explain what we did wrong in that situation for us to do next time. But does that somewhat make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
And then second, like at that point, we just kind of stuff chokes. We already have the high ground position.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be straightforward.
Yeah, and then if we want, where's the second point?
Yeah, like where would I want
Like bridge fight, basically.
Wait, sorry, for bridge fight, like we mean
like basically like we win first fight, carts pushing onto bridge. We basically just stuff chokes. We already have high ground.
like you mean these chokes?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you basically want to have You probably can't throw your Zen on cart because it's such a long range, right? If you throw Tracer on cart, she's gonna be out of the fight for a long time. Where Zen has good LOS playing here, or an Ana or whatever. So it's not too bad putting your support on cart. You can have your ball play above on these high grounds, Tracer play above on these high grounds. Now if you're playing Echo, you can probably just play like again. So if your Zen's here and here, you can go anywhere that's within LOS of your Zen. Maybe that's here. 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 Maybe that's anywhere, something like that. You're in a different angle that is when LOS of your team and was in LOS of the choke or wherever you're looking to engage on. Green engagement zones.
What's it called? If I'm on far here, do I just want to stuff those rooms, or do I want to kind of play more pokey?
You're gonna look to probably stuff these again. Depends on the comp. 90% of the time, you're gonna want to stuff these chokes as Farah. Honestly, probably 100% of the time. I can't really think of when you want to play pokey, but yeah, you're basically looking to play in a spot that again works to your range, right? Farah, I'm not going to say is like a Reaper range character, but she's a little closer range. If you're trying to snipe someone with Farah, you're not going to land your rockets.
Yeah.
So playing using your mobility to take a different angle from your team, the sky, obviously, and then playing above the chokes. Right? So ending up like that.
Okay.
Eva is aiming team on Brawl or Orisa, where they're going to look to punish my ball. I want to position a little farther up. We'll be with my ball so I can DM him when he pile drives or whatever. Are they playing dive? Are they going to want to punish my Zen? A little farther back. I mean, watch this flank. I watch this flank. The fourth fight happens, and then mid fight, it's kind of just individual stuff like that. Mostly. But yeah, once you get past the first choke, it should be a lot easier to play Eichenwalde. But something you guys are doing a lot, I was talking about, is the cart would be like right here. We would force point, and then the second we force point, our balcony would try and rotate. It's basically just putting us at a disadvantage, right? So now 45. Or we would try to walk up these stairs, which, again, we're putting ourselves at a disadvantage. So we want to force point, wait for it to be even, for us to be up, because they have to touch point, and then we look to engage. Is a big thing. And we'll go to Gibby. We'll do first point. Second fence. So, second. Okay, where do you want to take first? I don't want to say engagement here. I want to say
defense or attack.
We're on defense, okay?
All right.
Where do we want to? I don't know. Shake hands with the enemy first.
First corner.
First corner, right here.
Yeah.
Where does we are on? I think we play Ana here, so ball. Okay, long range characters. Brig, right? We have angles of the screen. We probably have right here. Yeah, I'd probably say those are the two spots. So I'd probably stick your Ash right here. Why do I stick Ash right here?
Yeah, that LOS the whole corner.
Better sight lines.
I think you probably have similar sight lines. I'm even playing Ash there. It's a little less safe, where Ash has a little more mobility, where she can reposition. If somebody jumps on her, she can coach gun away. Ana has a little more survivability. I'll say more than Zen, but I'd still probably put Ash there instead. Tracer, I'd probably put them on cart. And ball, I'd probably set up again, fight them right here or whatever. A lot of teams, what they do, right? We all know just keep you across, and then they'll go like this. If they're doing that, just touch point. Like you don't need to do anything, because if the cart doesn't progress, they obviously don't win forehead. So we don't need to do anything. If they're just gonna like send their tracer on cart, we just have our brig on a pocket our tracer or ash, take a couple shots, whatever. Maybe our ash pressures 4. Ball, you're just using your guns to shoot them. Like you don't need to engage. Just
Just
push
crab
them up
it.
on point. You don't really need to die. Right?
Crab mode it.
Fight progresses.
Okay.
That's gotta off one sec. Okay. So
Also, assuming they run like on a monkey dive, they're
Yep.
probably just gonna farm nano and try to fight us that way.
yeah,
So by then we're still buying time off the clock. Like they're
Yeah.
technically not pushing anything, assuming we stall it properly.
exactly. We don't need to engage there. There's no point. It's not really giving us a.
If they do somehow find picks, then yes, then we would have to back up.
yeah.
Because then they snowball harder.
Yeah, but we basically just force cart. If they want to just jump at us, they're putting themselves at disadvantage. They're not going to have very good angles. And then this is where we kind of actually want to fight. Is we can have our we'll say kind of like this corner here is our bread and butter. So this kind of choke / corner / low ground spot. We have our Ana play like low ground here. That's a backwards arrow for some reason. Again, little Ana positioning thing here. If you're playing against snipers like Hanzo, Ash, Widow, you probably want to play low ground. If you're playing against like Somber Trace or something, you probably want to go high ground. So you can play there. Ash again, long range angle, has LS of Ana, has LS of everyone engage, and plays for range. Maybe that's here, maybe that's here, maybe that's high ground, maybe that's high ground here. Like whatever, maybe it's like over here. There's a little like you can play over there. Ball come from a different angle. Tracer from a different angle. If their backline wants to play up here, same idea. Just green. Our green circle comes up here. Same idea. Our ball comes from behind. Our tracer comes from probably the same idea. Maybe touch the point. Again, not the best ball point. What Juice was talking about, it's not as good as say Volskya first point was for us. So a lot of it's just touching point. What I do, me being no hands on the aim, I will just play Tracer. I'll just sit on cart and annoy the enemy team, and just get pocketed by my brig and like take 2 minutes off the clock by just cheesing them. That's something like you should be looking to do as much as possible on this map specifically, because you kind of get too many good engages off. But you kind of want to just make sure you hit them at these green circles, because if you let them walk past these green circles and their Ana sits here, their monkey gets a free engage from a different angle onto your back line. They're not pressured at all. They're going to win it every single time. So that's, I mean, again, similar to Eichenwalde, you're probably going to play this again next scrim and just get rolled, but at least we'll know something we'll obviously, maybe we'll lose the point, and then we'll know something like what we could have done next time. How can we get them to those green circles? How can we play it so where positions where we want to engage, etc. Attack, very similar to Eichenwalde second. We're kind of looking to force point, right? The age-old strat of touching point. So it's over here on this map. As our backline sits DPs and then sits up here. Once they drop the touch, that allows our backline to walk forward. Our ball maybe goes and again deals with the Ash that's sitting in this high ground. Maybe our tracer just goes and annoys the enemy Ana to take, so she maybe has to anti herself instead of antiing our Briggs in. Looking to do that, and then once we kind of have control of we have control of the high grounds, we can rotate into our like prime real estate spot right here. Right, great LOS of everything. We're really safe. We have a mega health pack plus a lot of cover to play. Our flanks are well protected, and we can set up a dive, as in, force like set up a dive. Our ball goes up here. Our tracer goes like over here. Our Ash maybe plays like this angle right here, or maybe pushes to like he pushes like this to play like this angle like that. We set up angles like that way. Okay, well, is there any other options? Oh, another little strat that I watched a video on, but is what instead they did was they did the cart push thing. Like the Chengdu Hunters, I think they did it. They pushed the cart to the normal spot right here, and then they actually set their core, their Brig Zen. They sent them over here, and like underneath, not higher, like underneath, and then kind of like baited the enemy backline to jump through this tiny little chokes to kill them. In that case, like they're good to go. They can fight there. If not, they'll kind of just play around here. I think it's a little worse, but I think it's like, okay, we played 3 fights, we've lost them all. We need to do something different. There's another little strat like that, and then you're. Because it's pretty bad because it cuts your LOS of your Ash. Like your Ash can't really play anywhere other than stacked inside of your Zen. Your ball doesn't have too many options, whatever. But again, it's something different. I don't think it's too bad. But so if you need to switch it up, there's another option to have. Making some sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Yep.
So say we're in first fight, push cart to the second corner. We lose the fight in server. They start setting up like the first high ground because they can. How do we retake? Like we lose server control, cart is at the corner.
Or like, are we in spawn? Coming back?
Yeah. So this is like say
Yeah,
like
okay,
third
so
fight.
we're-
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just, again, same idea. We force cart. Once they send them back, we rotate up and just kind of, again, we're doing our bread and butter strat of getting back to server.
Okay.
How
So
can we get to
ideally,
server?
if we have someone on cart, then they should send someone back, and that's our opportunity to rotate. Okay.
Yeah, because they're good. If they want to position high ground just offense like aggressively, they can't deal with cart without sending someone back. They don't get all less of it. Where if they're set up back here, if they're on their widow, their ashes hang back here, they can pressure the point without being on top of it. But like you said, they're not on the aggressive high ground. We can just walk there for free.
Okay.
So same idea. It's just the cart's in a different spot.
Because I think we struggled on that a bit. Like we can get the cart up, but it's retaking the space like safely.
Yeah.
Like, getting into position safely is like a little difficult.
Yeah, I mean, if you're something else you can do, the enemy's red, obviously, cart's black. It's red. Ball, touches point, right? Really struggling or battling blue. Struggling because they can somehow pressure us without getting there. Maybe we have our Ash green, play a different angle, maybe like go right here, flank, look for dynamite to force them back. Get a little creative, maybe use an ultimate in a weird way. Like, same with, like on the Eichenwalde, throwing a Diva Bomb to maybe like make them jump off high ground. Something you can do. Mine, same idea. Like there's some creativity you can have. But yeah, generally neutral. Like we're not gonna like rely on ults. Yeah, just kind of force guard as much as you can. Once they rotate off, we either look to engage on a 5 and 6, or we look to rotate off of them. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And again, we really struggle with it again next turn. Now it's really good of odd because I don't need to talk about this again because we all know it. Right? So,
Is this being recorded?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So any last questions? I think it's getting a little redundant, a little boring. So I'll probably end it here. Any last questions for end stream?
I think we're good.
No? We're good?
I think-
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.